Kyle Stowers and the Marlins, they absolutely came from behind in the bottom half of the ninth inning at home. Walk-off victory for the Marlins. Heartbreak for the A's and heartbreak for Booney. We're going to get into that, plenty more. MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
And we are off and running and ready to have a little fun. Glad you're on board with us. He is Lindsay Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast. You can follow him on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. You can follow me on Lennox on Baseball. Lindsay, we get underway here, and, we've gotten to know Jeremiah, who covers the Marlins. We've gotten to know Booney a little bit, both eccentric in their own ways. The Marlins walk off. Mason Miller did not get the job done in the bottom half of the ninth inning in Miami on Saturday, and with that, we start things off with Jeremy Geiger on the Marlins perspective. Jeremy's still wondering. We're almost 2 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. Jeremy's still wondering what he saw in Miami on Saturday. We're trying to get Jeremy up here.
We don't have him. All right.
It may be my connection here. All right, so Kyle Stowers, second home run of the game, second time this week where he's hit 2 home runs in a game, and, comes against Mason Miller, who just self-destructed in that ninth inning and started with a hit batsman. So let's see if we can try this again. Let's bring in Booney. He's got the athletics perspective.
I'm absolutely stunned right now. Stunned. Booney from Locked On A's, and Marlins score 5 in the ninth off Mason Miller with a Kyle Stowers walk-off grand slam. I don't know what to say. I am sick to my stomach. I'm sure Jeremiah from Locked On Marlins will give you the rundown of what went on, but oh my God. Yeah. This one's going to sting for a while. For a long while.
Strong emotion.
All right. Yeah, Lindsay, we got him there. Let's see if I can get Jeremiah here, because we've got to hear Jeremiah on this walk-off victory. Let me see if I can get this going.
I'm absolutely stunned right now.
Straight
Stunned.
series victory.
Booney.
Yeah, I'm doing real well here with our production here. You may have to take over here at some point in time, but you know what? I'll try to get him later in the show. But Stowers with the grand slam, as I've been trying to allude to here. The Marlins do walk off yet again. They are walk-off kings. They had 30 home wins last year. Lindsay, 10 of them in walk-off fashion. They do it again this year. 2-out grand slam, bottom half of the ninth inning. Marlins, I'll stop talking here, end a 6-game losing streak.
This reminds me of the 2023 season when they made the postseason on the strength of so many one-run victories and extra innings wins. It's that little bit of clutch factor that they seem to just randomly from time to time have it. And this Marlins team, a bunch of dudes you've never heard of, kind of feel like they have it, which is wild to me.
Brent Rooker, J.J. Bleday, and Urias all homering for the Athletics in the loss, and they were looking like they were on their way to another win, a fourth in a row. That win streak comes to an end. Marlins and their losing streak, as I mentioned, 6 in a row. 8 comeback wins now for Miami this year. I mentioned the 10 walk-off wins this season. They've got 4 already this year.
That is just I can't believe it. Although J.J. Bleday, the revenge game is real. This is the team. This is the team that drafted him. Second straight day with a home run against the A's. Against the Marlins. Started to think what he's going to do on day 3.
So the Marlins end a losing streak. The Mariners continue to win. And I think we can both agree they're finding a different guy at the plate almost every single game to help lead them to victories. We're going to hear from Ty Dane Gonzalez in just a moment, but Rowdy Tellez does it late in the game for the Mariners on Saturday as they've taken the first 2 games of the series against the Rangers in Arlington.
It's a different hero every time. J.P. Crawford had a leadoff homer, and then they don't score again until the 9th. But Rowdy Tellez comes out and does it. And then a vintage Luis Castillo start with Andre Munoz getting a save. Everything worked for them in this one, and it's a different guy who wins it every single day for them.
And it's great to see you mentioned Munoz. You get the lead in the top of the 9th, and your closer just takes care of business in the bottom of the 9th. A lot of times they get shaky there. Don't know how fast he was getting ready, but all of a sudden he's in the game and a save opportunity, and he locks the door down.
That walk that he gave up made me worry a little bit. Okay, he wasn't hot enough for this. He clutched through. He took care of it. They've scored 50 runs in this 6-game win streak. They hired Kevin Seitzer, Atlanta's old hitting coach, and apparently whatever he's bringing to Seattle has worked for them so far.
And Edgar Martinez also part of that coaching staff with the Mariners. I'm sure he has a steady influence and a calming influence as well when things don't always go the right way.
Yeah, and then from the pitching side, Luis Castillo kind of stepping up into the form that they thought he was going to be when they got him. 6 innings, 1 run, only 2 strikeouts. Not too concerned about that, but their defense is good enough to handle balls in play. They took care of it. Do we have Ty?
Get more perspective on the Mariners' victory on Saturday as they extend that win streak. Ty Dane Gonzalez, our Locked On Mariners expert, multitasking on the streets of Toronto.
Straight series victories for your Seattle Mariners. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast. I'm out in downtown Toronto. Just had a wonderful belated birthday dinner with my wife, and also got to see the Seattle Mariners win their 8th consecutive series with a 2-1 win in Texas. Big takeaway from this game. First and foremost, shout out to Matt Brash making his return today. Clean inning for him. But the big takeaway from this game, 6 strong innings from Luis Castillo on the road, especially given his struggles on the road. That is huge. The Mariners getting back to the formula that they have put to use historically to win ball games, especially over the last couple of years. So a little return to form there for the M's. Offense wasn't great tonight. Missed out on some opportunities, but got some late game heroics from Rowdy Tellez. And they'll go for another sweep of the Rangers tomorrow. We'll see if they can get it done. And then we'll talk to you on the Locked On Mariners podcast on Monday. Peace.
Yeah, Ty alluding to it right there, Lindsay, in the sense of, you've got a 2-game sweep earlier this week for the Mariners against the Angels. Their other 3-game sweep that he was alluding to, that was against Texas. That came just before the midpoint of the month of April.
Yeah, it's the Rangers a little bit concerned about that, just simply because they've not played that great against anybody. But Seattle absolutely is. I mean, they're 20-12 right now, and it kind of feels like we got to break up the Seattle Mariners. If the pitching that they have, if they can get these guys back, they can get Gilbert back, the injured pitchers that they have, combined with this new look offense, they're a dangerous team.
Guardians, Daniel Schneemann playing a big role in their comeback victory in Toronto on Saturday. And with the update and the recap of the Guardians' comeback victory, welcome in Justin Latta, our Locked On Guardians expert.
On Locked On Guardians all year that when this offense draws walks, they are at their best. And that's what allowed them to complete a stunning comeback against the Toronto Blue Jays on Saturday. This is Justin Latta of Locked On Guardians. It took a base hit in the 9th and 2 walks for the Guardians to load the bases. They had just 1 hit heading into the 8th inning. Daniel Schneemann was the hero, hit a home run in the 8th, hit a grand slam in the 9th inning to come back and 5-3 win. But it took that base hit by Stephen Kwan, and it took a Carlos Santana walk and a Bo Naylor pinch hit walk. Very important moment because Bo Naylor was up there looking to get a hit, looking to win the game, looking to tie the game, and instead he took a walk instead of Daniel Sheeman, who hit the first home run of the 8th inning, the second hit of the game for the Guardians. He hit the grand slam. The Guardians stunned the Blue Jays after having one hit through 8 innings, a 5-3 victory. Gavin Williams, very shaky once again. Colby Allard takes all 26 guys to win a game, and Colby Allard came in behind Gavin Williams, gave you 4 innings of good baseball, kept the game close. And then for all the people who thought Emmanuel Clase was cooked, an uneventful 9th inning. No hard hit balls, nothing out of the infield. Guardians with a big win. They have a chance to finish off the series with a win in Sunday on Toronto. Tune into Locked On Guardians on Monday for more.
And again, with Munoz, Lindsay, with Seattle, you also take Clase. Perhaps back on track, and good to see him. Again, just shut him down in the bottom of the inning after you took the lead in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, he had to get hot in a hurry. Absolutely does. Comes in. No base runners reach. Big for him because unlike Devin Williams in New York, they were not wanting to move him to a lower leverage situation. He is the closer. He just had to get right. Hopefully this is him getting right. And from here on out, he can be the Clase we saw last year who had an ERA under 1 and was virtually automatic.
Lindsay, again, as we touched on in the open, Locked On Braves postcast host on Locked On Sports. Hey, your Braves, West Coast start time on the East Coast. 10:15 roughly was the first pitch. Dodgers, Braves. Lengthy rain delay on Friday. Ooh, even longer, much longer on Saturday. Take us through this one.
Yeah, so it started at 10:21 and ended at 1:26 the next morning, right? But no, this is 10-3 victory by the Dodgers. And the story of this one, I think there's 2 big things here. The first one is the top of that Dodgers order, right? The combination of Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman go 8 for 13 in this game. 2 home runs, a double. They score 8 runs and put up 6 RBI by themselves. So, like, just absolutely absurd what those guys did at the top of the order. And one of the main victims there, Spencer Schwellenbach, the young pitcher for Atlanta, been called the rising stars in baseball. Shortest outing of his career, 3 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk to 4 strikeouts. Still throws 91 pitches. And Atlanta just couldn't get anything done. They had plenty of hits, right? I think they had was it 10 hits, 1 for 10 towards the scoring position. They leave 11 on base. So that's kind of the story there. You can't afford things like that when the top of LA's order is doing future Hall of Famer things like they all did in this one.
And series wraps up. Maybe no rain in the forecast on Sunday. Sunday night baseball, Dodgers, Braves from Atlanta.
Yeah, it'll be hopefully that game happens as scheduled. But late night
Giants. Yep. Giants lost the first game of their series at home against the Rockies, come back and win the next 2, 4-0 Friday, and come from behind to win 6-3. Matt Chapman providing the big blow in the victory for the Giants on Saturday. Ben Kaspick, Locked On Giants, has the recap on the Giants side.
Another come-from-behind win and more 6-inning runs means the Giants are just 1 win away from doing what they're supposed to do. This is Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. They lost the first game against the Rockies, but now they're in a position where if they can win tomorrow behind Logan Webb, they would take 3 out of 4, which is what you're supposed to do against an inferior Rockies team. And today, Jordan Hicks was really good. He kind of struggled in his last inning, and then the bullpen gave up some of his runs, but otherwise a good outing from Hicks. And the Giants, they were struggling to score, but they broke through in the 6th, where they've been the best team in baseball by far at scoring runs. Kind of an oddity, but they got.
The biggest thing for me in that Giants game, 2 hours and 21 minutes tonight. It was 2 hours and 2 minutes last night, and we know Logan Webb is a pace of play enforcer. I would trade anything to have these games in Atlanta versus the games we've had versus the Dodgers the last couple of days.
Yeah, you certainly have to be a little bit jealous there. Mets Cardinals rained out in St. Louis on Saturday. Teams will play a split doubleheader at Busch Stadium on Sunday. We break when we come back. Rays come from behind in the Bronx. Nola gets his first of the season for the Phillies. That's all coming up next. MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.
What if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room, because your Fire TV is also an Xbox. You can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with a Fire TV Stick 4K device, no console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. You can dive into hundreds of premium titles, everything from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. We love it for my family is traveling. We don't have to lug a console with us. As long as we can plug a device in, we can do it a hotel, an Airbnb. We've done it in like a rental before. It's fantastic. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. It's available in select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation.
Yankees, Rays called a comeback in the Bronx on Saturday. Yankees bullpen, not so much, but Aaron Judge extends his hit streak to 13 straight games. Solo home run in the first inning against Zach Littell, who pitched real well and picking up his second win on the year.
Yeah, they have needed Zach Littell to be good in Tampa Bay because of the issues, the injuries to Shane McClanahan, the quality issues Shane Boz is having. I guess it's just the guy's name Shane are a struggle right now in Tampa. So Zach Littell, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Yeah, you gave up solo home run to Judge. Aaron Wells tagged you for a solo shot. Those guys are going to get him. You did well here. This is a good outing by Zach Littell.
Stacey, Locked On Yankees. She's our Locked On Yankees expert, and has got more on Clark Schmidt being scratched from the start on Saturday for New York.
The Yankees were only able to score 2 runs on Saturday, and it wasn't enough to beat the Tampa Bay Rays. This is 2 Saturdays in the last 3 that the Yankees bullpen blew a late lead and the Yankees offense couldn't win the game. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees. This time it was at Yankee Stadium. This time it didn't go into extra innings, but it was frustrating nonetheless. Clark Schmidt couldn't start. He has a sore flank. I only knew flank as a steak. I didn't realize that was a body part. He will be starting on Tuesday. So Ryan Yarbrough started in his place. It was a bullpen game. And until that 8th inning, they did pretty well, but good things come to an end. Mark Leiter Jr. played Devin Williams' role from 2 Saturdays ago, and the Yankees ended up losing. So we will recap this series on the next episode of Locked On Yankees, so please tune in, and we'll probably talk about how great Aaron Judge is, because he is.
You want to take batting average, you want to take whatever you want with Aaron Judge, on base, slugging, OPS, anything you want. Aaron Judge is providing it right now for the Yankees.
432 average, a 1312 OPS, 11 homers on the year. And I saw a graphic recently in the last 365 days, what he's done. He's been one of the greatest, it's like the greatest calendar years that any hitter has had in baseball history. It's just wild to me that this all started when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. He just broke out and became the greatest hitter of this generation. Wild.
Really did. Stacey mentioned the flank steak there. Yeah, even at almost 2:30 in the morning on the East Coast, I'm ready for a little flank steak. I'd put that on the grill in the coming days. There's no doubt about that. Twins, even up their series with the Red Sox at Fenway on Saturday. Kind of a special day for the Clemens family. Cody Clemens now with the Twins with a go-ahead home run against Hunter Dobbins, who took his first loss at the big league level. The Rocket was there. He's been there the last couple of days doing some stuff locally up in Boston with the Jimmy Fund. And, Cody Clemens just recently added, as I mentioned, with the home run. Rocket there, Mom Debbie there as well. Brandon's got the Twins side as they were able to even up the series at a game apiece.
Surely it wasn't perfect, but the Twins bang out 12 hits and beat the White Sox 6-3. This is Brandon Warren with your Locked On Twins post-game minute as the Twins move to 9-15 and now look to go for the sweep of the White Sox before welcoming the Angels to town. Solid offensive night.
And we're just having a tough time here. That's a recap from another game. You know what? I think there's some gremlins in here because I did not put that in there. I apologize for that. Tristan Casas, the news did come down. We shifted to the Red Sox side here for just a moment, Lindsay. Ruptured patella tendon in the left leg, and is going to miss the season. Missed an extended period last year. You can almost with this one, and I went on Locked On Red Sox postcast saying, put this in the bad loss column because the Red Sox have had a handful this year, but this one really felt like there was a carryover from Friday night and Casas' injury, and really Saturday became official, but really was news that everyone was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look good when it happened, and I'm starting to wonder. I know you and I talked about this a little bit yesterday off camera about, different ways to replace Tristan Casas. You can't sort of replace him outright, but how to fill that spot that's missing. And it's just these things, like we have to remember these people, it's human beings playing these games. And when they hear that one of their teammates, one of their friends has suffered a catastrophic injury, like it's going to impact them. And that's what it felt like when you watched this Red Sox game today. It felt like they were just a little sluggish and not quite there. Hopefully, they can get back on track on Sunday. I'm excited to see Garrett Crochet on the mound. I think he's exactly the right guy to come out there and just set a tone to help this team get refocused and back in the win column.
You don't win on Crochet Day for the Red Sox, and you lose the series on Sunday with the finale against the Twins. You're also at 500 through your first 36. That's not meeting expectations for Red Sox fans.
Yeah, it's really not. Talking about meeting expectations, the Orioles have not been doing that. They host the Royals. They lose 4-0. They were the Royals were shut out on Friday. They turn around. They shut out the Orioles on Saturday. Chris Bubich and 3 relievers for Kansas City. They combine for the shutout. He goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Couple different Royals homer in this one. Calvin Biggio gets 1. Kyle Isbell gets 1. The Pasquatch, Vinny Pasquantino gets 1. It's only the second time this year they've had 2 or more home runs in a game. Like I know Kauffman Stadium is not a great place to hit homers, but that's something that definitely has to change. Something else that changed, Bobby Witt lost his hit streak on Friday. He went 0 for 4 on Saturday. Still just is he's in a little mini bad streak of his own right now, but they'll get out of that on Sunday. I'm sure he's too good to be held down 3 straight days.
Yeah, and that series, it's an interesting one. Orioles, again, took 2 out of 3 earlier in the week against the Yankees at home. Have a chance to take this series as well with the finale on Sunday. And, yeah, as you mentioned, they've held Bobby Witt Jr. in check so far. And, hey, Bubich is a big reason why Brady Singer was expendable to the Reds during the offseason. They really expect him to carry a big load in that starting rotation. Him and Daniel Lynch, who's working out of the bullpen right now. So, goes 5, doesn't go 6, doesn't get credit for a quality start, but combines on the shutout win. Now the 4th in, I think, the last 2 weeks for Royals pitching. Yeah,
and that's just, their pen needed that extra little motivation there, that extra little achievement. I feel good about them. And in a series, you look at, you can throw Cole Reagans, you can throw Seth Lugo, you can throw Bubich. Like, you've got a lot of different options. And with Bobby Witt Jr., you can score enough to beat anybody if everybody's on. So look out for the Royals. They're a little dangerous.
Just a short time ago, we were wondering if the Phillies were going to be dangerous. They'd lost 5 in a row. Now they've righted the ship. They've won 6 of 7, winning 7-2 at home against the Diamondbacks on Saturday. And with the Phillies side of things from Citizens Bank on Saturday, Connor Thomas, our Locked On Phillies expert.
The Phillies boat race the Arizona Diamondbacks. A big win for them. The offense is starting to figure it out. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And the Phils got after him early today. Aaron Nola was really good, and they needed that. The offense was great. Max Kepler, can we talk about Kepler for a second? Because he is on a heater right now. The Phillies signed him because they thought they could recapture some of that Minnesota Twins power. He had 36 homers, and it feels like ages ago, but I guess the Phillies believed he could still find that version of himself, and he's starting to a little bit here in Philly. If he keeps this up, that signing's going to look really good. But he wasn't the only one that played well today. The offense in general was able to put it together, and just a nice, comfortable, easy win for the Philadelphia Phillies. We will take that. They have won 3 straight series in a row, and this team's starting to hit their stride a little bit. You got to feel better about where the team is right now. They go for the sweep tomorrow. We'll talk about it on Monday on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
And Lindsay, right there, Connor talking about a guy I really like that they picked up during the offseason. I said it to myself, so I said it out loud. But I also said it on the X as well. It's somewhere back there. But yeah, I really like that move, and he's starting to maybe get his feet underneath him in his new city.
Yeah, and given some of the outfield issues they've had, Brandon Marsh missed some time. Johan Rojas has forgotten how to hit at times. Getting Kepler going was big. And then the other big offseason addition for them, Jesus Luzardo in this one, 5 1/3 innings. That was Friday.
Yep, that was Friday.
Yeah.
Nola.
So
Aaron Nola gets
That was right. It was Nola. Nola got his first win of the year. It's wild to think about the fact that he has gone this long into May before getting a win, but 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, which for Aaron Nola feels like a lot because he's normally getting a bunch of ground ball outs. So great outing there. I believe that's back-to-back days with a home run for Max Kepler now because he had one on Friday as well. That's what I was thinking of when I said Luzardo. But just everything's going in the right direction for the Phillies right now.
So Aaron Nola got his first on Saturday. Astros pitcher Hunter Brown got his 5th win of the season on Saturday. And Jake Myers had a day at the plate. That's next. So Astros on Saturday. Jake Myers in Chicago against White Sox pitching. We're going to hear from H-Town Wheelhouse in just a moment. But Myers 4 for 4, a couple of home runs. Not bad for your number 9 hitter in the lineup.
Yeah, 7 RBI. He's a solo home run in the 3rd. Gets a 2-run triple in the 4th, and then has a 3-run home run in the 6th, and then an RBI double in the 8th. So what a day. That may equal some months that Jake Myers has had in Houston, but you love to see it. When you get that kind of production from the bottom of your order, you should be winning handily, and they absolutely did. He accounted for 7 of the 8 runs for the Astros.
H-Town Wheelhouse with more reaction on the Astros win against the White Sox.
The Houston Astros delivered a textbook performance both on the mound and at the plate. Hello, I'm H-Town Wheelhouse here with Locked On Astros, and career day by Jake Myers. We haven't seen anything like this out of a number 9 hole hitter, going 4 for 4 with 7 RBI, a career high, 2 home runs, a double and a triple. And Hunter Brown gave up 3 runs early, and it looked like they were on their way to another loss, but he locked in after that, not surrendering a single hit and striking out 9 through 6. The Astros' situational hitting was on point today, and their league-leading outs above average of 16 led the way with the defense. Isak Paredes with some amazing glove work along with Zach DeCenzo. Stay tuned in to Locked On Astros, where your team every day goes Stros.
And Lindsay, this series is 1-1, and Lance McCullers Jr. People might say, really? He didn't retire? No, he pitches. It's been a long time since he's been on a big league mound. And actually, it was October baseball the last time he was on the mound for the Houston Astros.
2022 World Series, and he's finally making it back. I am going to be watching this game. I'm not a fan of either team. I don't care about either team, but I'm going to be watching simply because I'm happy for Lance McCullers. First time he's played since the World Series of 2022.
And he's still going to probably throw 15, 18, 20 straight sliders in his outing, because that's what he does.
How do you scout for a guy who hasn't pitched in the majors in 3 years?
Slider.
There you go.
Change up, slider. Maybe he's got the sprinkler now as well in there. Let's move on from the Astros and White Sox. Padres, Pirates on Saturday. Good to see Fernando Tatis Jr. back in the lineup. He scores the game-winning run in the 9th inning on a wild pitch. Padres win 2-1. They've taken the first 2 games of that series against the Pirates, who now dropped to 10 games under 500.
Surprisingly low-scoring game from the Padres side. Manny Machado has a solo homer in the 7th. That just tied it up at 1-1, and then Tatis in the 9th. That's really it. They went from losing 4 in a row. They've now won 4 in a row. I am a little bit concerned, though, Steve, about the pitching. Right, Randy Vasquez, 5 walks by himself, 8 walks total, but they only strike out 3 for the entire game.
Which number popped more for you on the box score when you saw that?
I think the 3 strikeouts, right? Like you could have a bunch of walks. I think the 3 strikeouts, because when you think about the Astros, you think about Robert Suarez in the 9th, striking guys out, throwing 100. No, he got a line out double play to end the game, not a strikeout. So that was the more surprising part to me, was 3 strikeouts.
So, again, Padres have taken the first 2 games of that series against the Pirates. They'll go for the series sweep on Sunday. The Pirates just 1-4 on their current 6-game homestand. Nationals, Reds, Hunter Green pitched Friday, and the Nats bats were quiet. Lindsay, on Saturday, they came alive.
They made up for that. Ahmed Rosario had a home run and 4 RBI, part of a 15-hit day for the Nationals. He had a 3-run home run in the 6th. He had an RBI double in the 4th. James Wood had 4 hits. Nate Lowe had 3 hits and 2 RBI. They unloaded all the frustrations from Friday on Saturday.
So they've got a lineup. And Ahmed Rosario, he could be a trade candidate, but I do think this team at least can be within striking distance of 500, around the deadline. The Nationals should take those baby steps forward this year. But he'll be an interesting piece because maybe they can get something back for him if somebody's looking for a middle infielder or a DH type, and a guy who can also come off the bench in pinch running situations.
He can play anywhere too. I've seen him at third. I've seen him at short, at second, in the outfield. So that's useful. And as they have guys go down, maybe they end up keeping him and they move him around, or they flip him for a piece. We'll see what happens. But either way, they've got options, and they're 15-19. They're right, kind of hanging around the periphery, a little bit of a good run. They can be in the wild card conversation in the National League.
Cubs, Brewers, you really don't get that far down on a list for the Cubs. They win the game Saturday 6-2, now 21-13 on the season. But if you're talking about the Cubs right now, one of the first names you're talking about is Pete Crow Armstrong, and he does it again on Saturday. Goes back-to-back home runs with Dansby Swanson in this one.
3rd home run of the series for him. Every home run he's hit has been from April 15th on, so it's been like a 3-week heater for PCA. You'll love to see it. Kyle Tucker also homered, and then Jameson Taillon got the start. Him and 2 relievers held Milwaukee to just like 4 hits.
I think we're wrapping up here. Twins, Angels. We're not going to hear from John Frisch. I'm going to try to do something here real quick before we get out, Lindsay. But John Frisch is happy because the Angels do end a losing streak, beat the Tigers, 5-2 victory, 4-run 6th inning, and they took care of business on Saturday. Yeah,
it's this is 7-game losing streak is gone, and they were frustrated about the direction of the team, the management, everything. I'm glad that they got this win in here.
Smell that? It's the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm not sure what we're doing there. Jeff Carr wants to jump in.
But yeah, just this is the back-to-back games now for them. I'm really hopeful that they can make it 2 in a row on Sunday, because they haven't won back-to-back games since they won 3 in a row in early April. So I would love for them to win on Sunday.
Hey, that wraps it up for us. Our producer tonight was a disaster. But Lindsay, I appreciate checking in with us and being patient with that as well. One final swing, one final thought.
Lance McCullers is back.
There you go.
It's not as big of a name as it's somebody like a DeGrom or whatever, but I'm just happy for him that he's made it back to a mound.
Hey, subscribe to the Locked On MLB YouTube channel. Subscribe and give us a 5 for 5 review wherever you listen on the audio podcast, and MLB Game Night, part of Locked On Sports Network and available wherever you get your podcasts. MLB Game Night, every game, every night.